welcome back. So in this video, I'm going to go through what I'm going to give for homework. So let's just get started. So this is to continue from yesterday's homework on equations. So let's just take a look at these, as some of these are a little bit more challenging as what you saw in the previous homework, as the previous homework is mostly linear equations. So here there's some non-linear equations, such as this one over here, or this one over here, right? But nevertheless, you should still be able to do them. But in case you didn't, I'll just go through it. So let's just take a look at question 9. Just going to write it here. So you have square root of 2x plus 1 is equal to 9. So how do you solve for x? So what you can do is, because you see a square root sign, in order to get rid of the square root sign, you have to square both sides. So we have to square this side and square the left hand side, and then square the right hand side. Okay, so that's your first step. When you square it, the square root sign just disappears, so you're left with 2x plus 1 equals to 9 squared, which is 81. And then now you have a linear equation. It becomes a lot easier. So the next step, take away both sides by 1, 80. X equals to 40. Alright, and you can see the answer is correct here. Now I'm going to go to question 15. Now question 15, there's actually a special technique you can do for these kind of questions. Normally if you see a fraction is equal to a fraction, and you have variable on both sides of the equation, what you can do is called cross multiply. And what that means is this. That means this expression, a plus 7 times 4, is equal to 2 times 3a minus 1. So this is called the cross method. So you can write it like this. So 4 times a plus 7. So 4 bracket, make sure you write the bracket, is equal to 2 times 3a minus 1. Alright, so then once you get to this equation, it becomes a lot easier. Just expand. 4a plus 28 is equal to 6a minus 2. Right. Move the a's to one side, so I'm going to take away 4a from both sides. 28 is equal to 2a minus 2. Add 2 to both sides, 30 equals to 2a. So then what does a equal to? 15 is equal to 8, right? Divide both sides by 2, so then a equals to 15. We want to write our variable on the left hand side. Right, so let's take a look, see if there's any more. Alright, let's take a look at question 23. 23 is it's a little bit difficult, but not really. Okay, so what you can do with 23 is, because you have a fraction on the left hand side and you have kind of a fraction looking thing on the right hand side, you cannot use cross multiplication method. You can only use it when it's fraction equals to fraction. So this is not fraction equals to fraction. So what you can do is try and get rid of the fractions. Okay, so to get rid of the fractions, what you can do is times everything by the lowest common denominator. So in this case, you can times everything by 3 to get rid of the fraction. So times this by 3, times this by 3, and times this by 3, right? So if I times the left hand side by 3, because 3 is the denominator, if I times it by the denominator, the denominator is gone. Okay, so I'm left with a plus 4 is equal to, now what's 1 times 3? You get 3. Minus, what is a on 3 times 3? That's just a, right? Because I multiply by the denominator. So then you just have to solve this. So I can just add a to both sides. 2a plus 4 is equal to 3. 2a is equal to minus 1. A equals to minus 1 on 2. If you check the answers, minus 0.5, minus 1 on 2. So that's how you do question 23. Alright, so hopefully by going through these examples, going through some of the harder ones, you should be able to do most of them. And as after all, this is revision. For question 27, all you need to do is just take the cube of both sides. So if I take this to the power 3, I take this to the power 3, I can get rid of the cube root sign. Right? For question 27, times everything by the lowest common multiple. By the lowest common denominator. So common denominator of 2 and 3 is 6. So times this by 6, times this by 6, times this by 6. Okay. Actually, I'm going to do this question because it's a little bit more challenging than the other ones. But basically, if you multiply this by 6, the 6 and the 2 will just simplify to become 3, right? So then this will actually become 3 outside of x minus 1. And the reason I got the 3 is because if I times this by 6, the 2 and the 6 cancels out. to become 3, right? So that's how I get the 3. Okay, so very important that you understand this step. 5 times 6 is just 30. And for this one, the 6 and the 3 cancels out to become 2. 2x plus 1. Now expand everything. So you get 3x minus 3 plus 30 equals to 4x plus 2. I'll take away 3x from both sides. At the same time, I'll simplify this. So this is 27 equals to 4x take away 3x is x plus 2. So then 25 equals to x. So then x equals to 25, right? Right, so hopefully that's kind of clear. There's not much trick to it. It just takes a bit of practice. Alright, so now I'm going to go through the next part of the homework, and that's just kind of like using formulas, okay? So I'm just going to show you this first. So what I did was, I'm going to put the formula here so that every time I do these questions, I don't have to scroll up. So the question just says, use Fry's rule to find the infant dose. Okay, so if Michaela is 6 months and the adult dose is 15 mils. So let's look at Fry's rule. Fry's rule says child dosage equals age in month on 150 times adult dosage. So then it should be pretty easy. So to work out the child dosage, that's just the equal to age in month. So what's the age in month? 6 over 150 times by the adult dosage times by 15. Okay, so this is just what, 0.6, right? So the 15s cancel out. Get 6 on 10, that's just 0.6, and this should be in mils. It doesn't say, but it should be in mils. Alright, so it should be pretty easy. What does the next question say? Nearest milliliter. Okay, so question says use Young's rule to find the required dose. So let's just take a look. Young's rule is you need age in years plus. Okay, so let's just take a look. So that's equal to Christian's 4 years old. So age in years is 4. So 4 over 4 plus 12 times the adult dosage, which is 10 mils. So times by 10. What does this give you? 4 on 16, which is a quarter times 10, 2.5, right? Mils. And for question 5D, just do not use 72 in here because it's age in years. You got to convert this to years. So you have to divide it by 12 to convert it to years. That's equal to 6. So don't get tricked by that. Last one, use Clark's rule. Clark's rule is just a different formula that you have to use, so it should be pretty easy. And the question says, answer to the nearest milliliter. So then just do what the question asks you. Weight in kilograms is 40 divided by 70 multiplied by adult dosage. Adult dosage is 20. So this is equal to, okay, this one I can't do it in my head, so I'll just use a calculator. So you can just type 40 over 70 times 20. Okay, this is nearest milliliter, so that's 11, right? And the rest is just the same stuff. Just the only thing they change is the mass, which is in kilograms, and the dosage. So it should be pretty easy. All right. Now let's take a look at a different question. So the medical equipment shown inserts of fluid drip by drip into the blood. Use this formula for the following questions. Okay, so the drip rate equals to volume over time. So Leo receives 1.5 liters of fluid over 8 hours. What is the required drip rate in milliliters per hour? Okay, so first of all, when we do these questions, make sure we're substituting in the correct units. So 1.5 liters, you got to convert this to milliliters, which is 1,500 over 8 hours. So time is in hours, so that's fine. And what does this equal to? This equals to, okay, I got to use my calculator for this as well. So 1,500 divided by 8 equals to what? 187.5. So 187.5 milliliters per hour. So that's pretty straightforward. This is the same kind of question. Alright, so I'm not going to go through all of these questions. They're pretty simple on how to do them. So that's all for today. Thank you for watching.